Episode 27, January 27th, Midseason Awards edition. Let's get right into it.
Here's Ilyasova. Here's McConnell. Can he get it off? Yeah! And the Sixers win it! 7 seconds to play. Iverson against Gill. The crowd on its feet. Allen for the win! Yes!
How you doing, Justin? How you doing, Justin?
Right. I'm doing pretty well. I mean, besides the All-Star news today, I'm doing well. Besides that, how are you?
I'm quite well myself. Actually, I'm recovering from a sickness, but just pop some meds.
There you go.
Good as new.
That's a way to fix it.
I've never felt better in my life, actually. Ben Simmons came to town yesterday.
Oof.
That was fun. We got producer Tony in the house. Hello, Tony.
How's it going?
Oh, there you are. Tony, it's been quite a while.
It has.
We're not going to elaborate on that. We're just going to say it's been quite a while this time.
Yep.
Things happened. It happens.
Last time we were here, I believe Justin said biscuits, but he never said biscuits.
All right, listen.
So if you know what we're talking about, go to the end of the last episode, and we're playing trivia, and Justin swears he said biscuits, and he never said biscuits. There was video proof.
Listen, the microphone gets muted when the video plays. I was screaming it.
No, but you have to wait until the video's over and then make your judgment.
I wasn't thinking about it.
You didn't say biscuits. It's okay.
All right.
You might have said it, but it didn't. You said it prior. You had a false start.
Yeah, we'll just call it a false start.
10-yard penalty. We got some headlines for this show. So producer Tony, you can hit that music. Oh, dope headline music.
New headline music.
Yes. Sixers defeated the Nets last night, 137-133 in a high-scoring affair. KD and Embiid had a phenomenal Twitter exchange. We're going to get into that. In this episode, we will have our Midseason Awards, as you can see by the title down below us. I know we've got some interesting awards to give out. But first, Joel Embiid was left off the East All-Star starter list. KD, Kyrie, Donovan Mitchell, Giannis, and Tatum. Tatum getting that last front court spot. If you listen to the podcast last couple of weeks, we've been warning Sixers fandom about this, that this would happen. And it's happened. Tatum ends up getting that spot ahead of Joel Embiid, which leaves me questioning a lot.
It's just disrespect after disrespect. It's the All NBA, it's the MVP. Now it's the All-Star game. I mean, listen, I get it. In 5 years, we're not going to be saying, "Oh my God, Joel Embiid was left off the All-Star starters." But it's frustrating. It's frustrating because he just gets he gets ignored. He just gets flat out ignored, and it hurts. It hurts the soul.
I think that in 20, 25 years, 30 years, we're going to look at Embiid as possibly the most underrated player of all time.
Absolutely.
Because, we like to go and look at stats from players that played in the 90s and the 80s, and when we can make assumptions based off awards that they earned. And did they deserve this MVP? Should they have gotten the MVP? Were they snubbed? We do that quite a lot of it, and we won't stop doing that. That's something we're going to continue to do as basketball fans. So I think down the line, you're going to look at Embiid saying, well, he could have won 2-3 MVPs. He could have been first team All NBA a couple times. I can't believe he wasn't an all-star starter averaging 30 and 13. You know what I mean? Like it's something that we're going to look back on and think about how underrated someone like Joel Embiid is, not getting the media awards that he deserves, which is quite insane. That he's doing this, and year in, year out, they're going to find a way not to put him where he deserves, whether it's All-Star, whether it's All-NBA or MVP. It's going to happen, and sometimes multiple times on a season.
Yeah, and I said this on Twitter. It's not the MVP starter that That's more important. It's that Finals MVP trophy that's more important. So we can freak out about this all we want. It's whatever. It happened. We can just move on to the next thing and have Embiid dominate the All-Star bench.
Do you think that this is a cause for the All-Star game to go positionless with its starters?
Absolutely. And just like the All-NBA awards should absolutely be positionless. We play in a league today, we play positionless basketball. That's the kind of league we're in today. The NBA is years behind with their awards and who they give all-star spots to. The NBA is years and years behind that. It should absolutely be positionless.
We saw, I believe, with Embiid, obviously you have Giannis, KD, and Tatum, and then Jokic on the other side have more votes than him. So he's like 5th in the front court with fan voting. What's the problem we have there?
A lot of fans don't like him.
That
a lot of
they're
fans.
rub him the wrong way.
Yeah. And the media, they love Tatum. The players love Tatum. The fans, I forget who got number 1 in the fan voting for Eastern Conference, but I don't know. Just you look at a guy who's second. He's second in the league in scoring with 33.5, only a point like 2 or 3 behind Luka. He anchors a top 3 defense in the league. They're 19. They got 19 wins in their last 23 games. And you don't want to give him an all-star starting spot? I don't has there ever been a time where somebody's averaged 30 plus and not made an all-star starter spot? Has that ever happened?
I'm trying to no. I'm not sure exactly. 2020-21 Bradley Beal was a demon for the Wizards when they had just traded John Wall and they had Westbrook. I'm not sure if he averaged 30 or not, and I don't even know if he started the All-Star game because I know he had that's like one of the only ones that's popping up into my head right now.
Mm-hmm. And the Sixers are the 2nd seed.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's not like it's a bad team.
Yeah.
They're winning basketball games.
You're 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference. You're 3rd in the entire league, and you don't have one single starter. That is something that you don't see very often at all.
No, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. But then again, I'm not sure if it'll matter too much. He's going to be the first player picked in their draft that they do.
Yeah, he'll be the first off the board right away.
So, it is what it is. It's obviously it's good to see what the players did because the players had Embiid as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it came down to the fan vote. I think it's time to eliminate the fan vote. I didn't vote once.
I voted a couple times, but the fan voting ruins everything.
Yeah.
As you saw it last year with Andrew Wiggins starting in the All-Star game. It's every single year you see these random guys that are like top 6 in the fan voting. A guy that comes up every year is Derrick Rose.
Austin Reeves this year, Alex Caruso last couple of years.
This is why fan voting shouldn't exist.
Yeah, I remember 2 years ago, I believe. And yeah, Luka's a great player now, but he wasn't always Luka. He was always a phenomenal player, but now he's reached new heights. There was a year where he was neck and neck with Dame, and I believe Dame was the better player in 2020-21. And Luka got in because of the fan vote. And that was the first time it's really been like, all right, come on, guys. Let's get our act together.
It needs to go.
And ever since then, there's always been an example of, like how is this happening? If the media and the players do this, or say this, vote this, how is the fan voting? How is it this much more powerful than that?
What do you think should replace fan voting? Because we have media votes, we have player votes. What do you think could replace fan voting?
I
Maybe
think
coaches?
The
Coach?
coaches decides the reserves. Maybe they should have an input on the starters as well. I mean, it
Yeah.
obviously could not hurt at all.
Yeah, but fan voting, it's just gotten way too crazy in the past few years with these random guys making these giant leaps.
And personally, I just don't go out of my way and vote. It really doesn't matter to me. The fan voting, I don't take it serious. But other people do.
Mhm.
And Tatum fans were out and they were voting, and that's good for them. But that shouldn't really. I mean, obviously, I could come on here every day and say that I believe Embiid is better than Tatum, but if I don't go in and sign into NBA.com and do their little survey and type in who I think are the starters for every West and East, and I just don't want to do it,
Yeah.
right? But because I don't do that, then there's no say in the fan voting, and have to live with the fact that Tatum is better than Embiid, right? So
Yeah.
and I think that there's better ways to go about it. I like the fact when they had it on Twitter and you could retweet the hashtag.
Yeah.
I feel like that was kind of cool. A lot more easier, more accessible. But then you also get stuff like the Andrew Wiggins.
That's
type
how
thing.
Andrew Wiggins was got so high up there into the starter spot, because I think it was something with BTS Twitter, and all the retweets boosted him like crazy. But they took that out this year, but that didn't help. That didn't help at all.
And nothing's really egregious. I mean, like Tatum that got in front of Embiid. I mean, he's second to Embiid on that last spot. Like, well, I guess he's a fourth front court player. That's for sure. It's not something egregious like Andrew Wiggins, but it's something that pretty. You could objectively say that Embiid has been better than Tatum. I mean, Embiid's been better than KD this year, but we know we're not gonna lose. We're not gonna win a war against KD.
No.
But yeah, I think that I like Tatum. Like as a player, I think he's very good. Like I'm not slighting him, but he's just not better than Embiid, and that's
No.
pretty. It's not even like, since I'm a Sixers fan saying that, it's pretty objective. Tatum can play good. There's no doubt about it. Embiid could also play great. They're both phenomenal players. But there's really no argument for Tatum to be above Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
Which, when you deliberately put this issue of who's going to get in and start the All-Star game, which is, it's a pretty big deal, outside of the hands of the media and in the players into average Joes, that's when you start, people getting awards taken from them from just regular people.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like about it.
Tony, I wanted to hear your thoughts about the whole Embiid not being a starter situation.
I'll keep it short. I'm not surprised. You've seen where he is in the MVP ladder, just finally getting his respect. I'm not surprised the fans or the media or whoever didn't vote him be an all-star starter. I think he'll use it as motivation. And obviously, I mean, his eyes are set on the NBA finals. So
Need that motivation for Saturday.
Oh yeah,
Indeed.
That's for sure. Look. I think that Embiid definitely knows about people that don't like him. There's no secret in that, and he can play into it quite well.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna see that.
How about we get to a little more positive kind of note here and talk about a few nights ago when we played the Brooklyn Nets, and talk about a long and high-scoring game. The first quarter took about 43 minutes because of the Sixers getting into the bonus with 9 minutes left in the first quarter. There was about 3 techs called in just the first quarter. There had to have been 6 or 7 called in the entire game. But probably one of the highest scoring games of the year. They were projected to get over 300 points after the first quarter.
Wow.
It was a very fun game though. Zero defense being played the entire time.
Oh, absolutely none. Absolutely none.
One guy I really don't talk highly too much of other teams we play, but one guy I really liked watching last night was Nick Claxton.
For sure.
I thought he played very well. He did his best to guard Embiid. He actually did a pretty solid job at it. Had a big block on him, and was doing great on the offensive end. I think he had 21 points. He had a really good game. It was probably one of his best games of the year. But man, he's having himself a season. I think he's top 5 right now for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, he's definitely up there, and he solidified himself as the best big man on that Nets team,
Yeah.
with competition of Day'Ron Sharpe and Ben Simmons. I think he's an excellent player. I like Nick Claxton a lot as a player. He's from South Carolina, does help out a bit, but I've watched him play for a while. I mean, I've watched him play for 7, 8 years now. I've seen him in AAU tournaments and playing high school, and he played college, University of Georgia. So I've seen him in the SEC, and he's always been the type of player for the Nets where you're just waiting for a breakout, where you're waiting for him to kind of make that big move, and that's what he's done this season. Because there were some times at the beginning of the year where he was a bit stagnant, where he'd have a good game, then he followed it up with a really bad game. But now it's something that you're accustomed to seeing is Nick Claxton showing up defensively for sure, stopping whoever he needs to stop down low, but also getting some big time buckets and working cohesive with KD or Kyrie or whoever is on the court. Also, Joe Harris, I think he works well with finding open space, finding guys that can shoot like Seth Curry. And he's done well of being more aware as an offensive player because he's always had the great defense.
Yeah. And to flip sides to the Sixers, I really didn't think Joel Embiid played all that good yesterday. I'd probably rate his performance like a C-.
Yeah, I saw a couple tweets that said we had M Fatty last night.
Yeah. You could see that he was excited to play against Ben for the first time. And you could tell it on the court. You know, Ben obviously guarded him for a bunch of possessions. He didn't really do much. Embiid was just trying to do too much, trying to create a highlight on Ben that could be posted everywhere. Maybe say something funny on Twitter after the game, but he did it anyway with KD. But yeah, he just really has to lock in and get into his own game. He hit, I think, all his free throws, if not missed maybe one. He had only 26 points. Wanted him to get over 30, but obviously he didn't. But yeah, when you're in a high intense game like that, just calm down, get into your groove, do the things you're good at, and go from there. And I thought his rim protection was not good at all last night. He let Nick Claxton get a lot of free buckets on him, just simply because he just wasn't doing any rim protection.
Yeah, and he was in foul trouble a lot in the game, early in the game, and that kind of halted him from trying to guard the paint to the best of his abilities because, you know, he is susceptible to the foul at times.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a couple touch fouls around the perimeter and the tech, obviously, which you don't like at all. I definitely not one of his better games. I'd say I was not pleased at all with the way that he played. Maxey, on the other hand, I feel had a great game. Harden had a great game. There's some players I really liked. Montrezl Harrell's minutes. People hate Montrezl Harrell. Not sure why. I'm not sure why. I think he's a very solid player. Very solid. I think he's very solid. He does make his mistakes. He's very solid though.
A lot of mistakes.
I think he does. He does some good. That could be way worse in beatless minutes.
My thing with Montrezl Harrell is Doc Rivers needs to look at who they're playing and see.
Well, he's just a better player than Paul Reed. I agree that.
Yeah, but there's
Paul Reed
could have times that Paul Reed should be in the game. I mean, Montrezl Harrell was just getting destroyed on the defensive end. He let Ben Simmons score 10 points on him. Easy buckets. It barely contested. I mean, come on. At some point, you got to say, hey, you're not getting the job done on the defensive end. And sometimes he's not even getting the job done on the offensive end. You just got to say, Paul Reed, go check in.
Paul
Because
Reed's not doing a much better job, though, defensively. He's not moving the needle enough on the defense to put him in and play in the minutes.
think he'd be a way better on
He's
defense.
not stopping. Paul Reed wouldn't have stopped Ben Simmons on those moments.
I think he would have contained him.
No, he's not.
I just don't like Montrezl Harrell.
Well, it's hard for Montrezl Harrell to be put in that position when Ben finally attacks and you playing 8 feet off of him from the perimeter and he's coming in full head of steam. It's a bit different than being a help side defender, because he's not a help side defender when someone like Ben Simmons comes in and attacks the paint. I think that he's a much better player than Paul Reed.
I think
definitely
he's a
more aware, more surrounded. He's not gonna completely mess you up like Paul Reed has the ability to do. He's not gonna get so out of position trying to fight for a rebound that he doesn't get, and then gives up a dunk on the other end wide open because he left the paint so far. That's something that Paul Reed does a lot. Montrezl Harrell, well, if if he has to run so far for a rebound, he won't even bother.
Yeah.
He'll just let him have another chance, but he also doesn't give up an easy layup. And Paul Reed is definitely better defensively, but he's also he's not a defensive player of the year. I mean, he's not blocking shots off the backboard. He's not like he has an intimidator thing with him where he can just extend his arms and they're going to be so deterrent from the rim that they don't even look at it. I mean, he's not moving the needle so much defensively that you have to put him over Montrezl. I think Montrezl does a fine job.
No, I'm not saying
without Embiid.
I'm not saying that Paul Reed has to play. I just think there's some matchups where Paul Reed's the better option.
Yeah, in theory, you would want to play Paul Reed sometimes, but I don't know if it works out more than 7 minutes. So it is what it is.
I think doesn't hurt to try. But one of my favorite performances last night, and you won't hear this name and favorite performance together from me at any time, but Matisse Thybulle, one of my favorite performances from last night. He hit a couple threes, did a good job cutting to the basket for free buckets. He did a good job on the defensive end, got a couple steals, blocks, containing Kyrie. I mean, Kyrie's a tough shot maker, and he's going to do that. Matisse Thybulle played great defense on him. You know, Kyrie Irving's just better. Got the best of him a couple times, but Matisse, I thought he all around had a fantastic game last night.
Yeah, he still didn't prove to me that he's an amazing ISO defender. I actually think that he might be a little below average. ISO.
Oh yeah, Kyrie was cooking him.
Yeah,
but isolation.
But the anticipation was there, being in the passing lanes. He got some blocks. He also did foul a couple of jump shooters, or one jump shooter, which is still a big, universally known as a no-no. So when you're doing that compared with getting beat off the dribble, it's not a great recipe. But when he's knocking down threes, it's all you can really ask for.
It's a whole different game when Matisse Thybulle is knocking down threes.
Because we think he's this, defensive god. And I mean, he kind of is. Like, he makes unbelievable plays defensively. But he also, I mean, if you put him in isolation against a really good dribbler, a guy that can put a combination of moves together and can finish around the rim, he's cooked. Like he's not staying in front of a lot of these guys, but
if Kyrie can do that to most defenders.
Yeah, but there's other guys for sure that I'm definitely not putting, like Shea. Like, I'm definitely not putting Matisse one-on-one against Shea and expecting him to lock up, because that's not what he does. He doesn't just lock you up. But if somebody that does a lot of off-ball movements and tries to weave their way through, I think Matisse is very effective in defending that, like a Steph Curry. It's like Matisse would do a much better job guarding a Steph Curry than he would a Jordan Poole, if that makes sense. But when you're guarding someone like Kyrie Irving, I think he did a fine job. There's no good way to guard Kyrie unless he's just missing shots. Kyrie has to put it upon himself to play bad. You're not going to make Kyrie Irving play bad with your defense, and a lot of times it's the undisciplined defenders that have a good time against Kyrie. So. Like a Ja Morant, for some reason, can guard Kyrie, but the best defenders can't. So there's a thing, like, you can't look in too much with the matchup. But I think he did fine on help side. He did fine roaming, being a point of attack as well. He saved the day a couple of times when we had gotten behind and he had got a steal or a deflection to disrupt Brooklyn's play of pace because it was extremely fast. But yeah, when you're hitting threes, there's no reason not to play him 15 minutes because he can come in as a wing and be someone that can also stretch the floor and just be a disruptor defensively. I think there's a win-win when Matisse is playing the way that he has been last couple of games, not just last night or 2 nights ago. It's something that we've seen a couple times now building up last couple months.
Yeah, like you said, a fast pace of play. I mean, that is the Brooklyn Nets. They play at a insane pace, and we kind of caught up with them in pace. That's why you saw such a high scoring game. But yeah, back to your point. If Matisse is hitting threes, absolutely he should be getting
play him
at least 15 because him without threes, it's devastating. Him with threes, you just have to.
He's for sure your 8th man, and he could possibly be your 7th, depending on how well he's shooting.
And I wanted to ask you your thoughts about Tyrese Maxey still coming off of the bench. He comes off the bench, but he's still playing more minutes than D'Anthony Melton.
Yeah, so look, this is really, there's no real way to predict this or to say what you think will happen, because you can be like, yeah, he's playing great off the bench. You gotta move him to the starter, put him with that starter rotation. He's also playing great off the bench. Let's keep him on the bench. As long as he's on the floor, it really doesn't matter if he's on the bench or if he's starting. I mean, I really think it's fine that Melton starts. I think he brings a lot of catch and shoot awareness to where the defense has to be, pulling towards him when he's on the perimeter, especially if you want Embiid or Harden to get going early. It won't work as well with Maxey on the court because they're more wary of the drive than the catch and shoot with Maxey. So that's one thing I like. Melton, I mean, he doesn't even have to play good. He just has to hit threes at the beginning. He can have a good 3-4 minutes of the game, like the first 3-4 minutes of the game, and that's good enough to be a starter right now for the Sixers. And then you come in and just let Maxey cook.
Yeah, and that backcourt defense really helps, especially since Harden and Maxey are such negative defenders together. That defense really helps. But
actually, I think that I wouldn't mind it because I feel much more comfortable with Harden's defense than I have been, let's say, like 3 months ago. So,
oh yeah, he's really locked in on the defensive end lately.
I think that Harden's not so much more of a negative, where if you put him with Tyrese Maxey, is like you feel sick inside. Obviously, you'd rather D'Anthony Melton be out there for defensive purposes, but I feel fine with James Harden defending guards now, whether it be down low. He's a great post defender for some reason. He's just a phenomenal post defender, especially on other guards, which it makes no sense. But he's done well on the perimeter, especially through screens, where he has done a better job. And that has to do with the hamstring being healthier, because he was always, using his strength to his advantage defensively. Last year was a joke how bad he was on defense. Same with Maxey. Maxey's also gotten a little bit better. But Maxey's just burnt toast if he faces anybody competent with a shot creating ability. It is what it is. But I like Harden out there. I think that Harden is so much better of a defender now than he was this time last season, where I wouldn't mind extended minutes of that backcourt, because it's not in my mind that Harden's a negative defender anymore. So yeah, obviously you'd rather D'Anthony Melton, but if you're in the playoffs and you're in a situation where you need scoring and you need defense, I think you rely on Maxey and not D'Anthony Melton because of James Harden's defense.
Yeah, and Doc Rivers said there was 3 starting lineups that they were going to experiment with. The one starting lineup is with Maxey in it. The second is with Melton in it. And we haven't really seen that third starting lineup yet. I would just have to assume that it's the 3 guard starting lineup with Harden, Maxey, and D'Anthony Melton. Tobias playing the 4 and Embiid at the 5, because we have seen that plenty of times this year, but not in the starting lineup. We saw it last night against the Nets, or a couple nights ago against the Nets, and I personally thought those minutes were fine. A lot of offense going on between those 5 guys.
Or hear me out. We go back to my take from like November, and we put Minivan in the power forward position.
I wouldn't mind. He has been fantastic this year.
Toby and D-Melt off the bench. Would like it. I would like it personally. Personally, I would like it because I like Tobias as a primary ball handler in a pick and roll situation.
So who would you replace for Toby and I guess Maxey and Yang?
Yeah, so you run PJ Tucker out there. Harden, Maxey, Tucker, Niang, and Embiid. That's kind of nasty on paper.
I wouldn't.
It's nasty on paper, but I think it might work.
Yeah,
it's something to experiment with because I like the way that Tobias can play if he has the ball in his hands a lot. I mean, he was darn near an all-star in 2018, 17.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that he can definitely play to the level of coming off the bench and just being a pure scorer and shooting the ball to his will. But there's also times where he's going to be on the court with that starting lineup. I don't know. I think that there's ways to get around it with Tobias still being a starter, just having him play more bench-oriented minutes, which I think we should play around with as well. Because I like Tobias getting in minutes where he's not the only ball handler, but he's the guy that has the ball in his hands a lot, working and not necessarily facilitating, but making the reads. Whether he's going to go and he's going to drive, or he's going to shoot, or he's going to dump it down low to Embiid or whoever's playing center that time. But if you surround him with shooters enough, I think it could be successful. Because I've always liked Tobias playing with that bench unit because he has the capability to score 25.
Mm-hmm.
We just have not tapped into that lately at all.
No.
So I'd like us to try and tap into Tobias cooking just a little bit more because I want to see if he still has it. I believe he does. He shows signs of it. I mean, like once every couple of games, he shows signs of being a great player. But I'd like to see us try and put it into his hands a little more.
Yeah, I like that as well. I think he's having probably the best year in a Sixer uniform of his career.
Definitely the quietest year. So we just don't talk about him much.
We don't.
He's just doing his job.
We really only talked about him with how poorly he's played in the past.
Well, has he played great? I don't know if he's ever played great.
I wouldn't say great. I think he's been good.
I think ever since the moment he got to Philly, he's kind of taken a step down with his level to where he was previously at.
Yeah. He's not, I wouldn't say he's on Clippers level right now, but he's been pretty good. He's been a pretty good spot up shooter. He's been a very good mid-range shooter this year, off the dribble mid-range.
Yeah, like the beginning of last year, dreadful, awful.
That
terrible.
Was the worst basketball I've ever seen played by
so
one person.
Bad. The bubble. Oh my God. Oh, just putrid basketball from Tobias when he wasn't having an ice pack on his head in the Celtics series. Just absolutely terrible.
That was rough to watch.
But they're really other than a couple of games where the Wizards series where he dropped 30.
Is that the last 30-point performance he's had?
It can't be, bro.
I think it might be.
Tony,
can you look up when's the last time Tobias Harris had a 30-point performance?
I'm sure he had one last year. We're just not thinking of it. I don't know.
Dude,
you watch every game, Justin. So
I don't remember Tobias ever having a 30+ point game.
I think we can tap into that. I think he should have more 30-point games than DeAnthony Melton.
Yeah. Talk about 30-point games. Seth Curry last night.
Are you surprised at all?
30? No. Not at all. Not in the slightest. I mean, he just makes us miss him. I miss him, and I hope he comes back this summer to the Sixers. I think he could. I think it's a very realistic possibility that he could come back to Philly.
I would definitely not be opposed. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no reason that Seth Curry will always be a picture perfect fit with Joel Embiid.
Imagine him coming off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, we saw how well JJ Redick and Embiid worked. They do the exact same sets together.
Yeah.
When Redick had that fantastic year in Philly, kind of Embiid's first time being a great player, getting into his potential, stepping into his own player. We ran the exact same sets with that when Seth was cooking in Atlanta, the dribble handoffs and getting free space. Putting Seth in a mode of where he's not just a spot up shooter, of where he can get to his spots from any place on the floor because of the attraction that Embiid pulls when two defenders are together. Because you have to look at 30-point per game score in Joel Embiid. And he does a great job working alongside Ben Simmons, who's also a great passer. Kyrie Irving, he does a great job being opposite of Kyrie, which allows him to score 30 when he needs to.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of good pick and roll duos. Or Tony, do you have the answer, or you still find it?
Yeah. This last 30-point game for Tobias Harris, February 8th of this year against last season,
year
against the Suns in a loss.
30.
Okay.
I don't remember that at
A
all.
loss.
But damn, Tobias really got to get another 30-point game this year.
Yeah. Man,
Oh wait,
11 months.
No, now I remember that.
Is that 11 months? Almost.
Yeah,
12?
it's about a year. But
almost a year.
Back to what I was saying, we've seen a lot of great pick and roll duos in NBA history. Where do you think you would rank Joel Embiid and James Harden? Because I've said it before.
Oh no, probably like 13.
That is a cheat code.
Yeah, I mean,
that is a cheat code.
They're definitely up there.
Yeah.
You'd like to see more playoff wise, not to be one dimensional.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't look at last year because of the cooked hamstring, but definitely judging off this season, you definitely have a better feeling heading into a more of a playoff, slower pace, got to get a bucket type of atmosphere. Because that's where we're really going to find out about how well they can run the pick and roll together. When a team knows it's coming and you still are able to exploit their weaknesses. And I don't know if we've seen enough from them to really properly grade them among NBA history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wish they would have ran it more against the Nets. I don't think we ran it enough. And again,
Embiid was in foul trouble, and you're kind of just letting the guards do their thing because nobody was stopping him. Nobody was playing defense. So there really was no reason to go into a pick and roll set because the guards were just having their way without screens. So, I mean, it is what it is. Just wasn't, I agree with you, but I don't know. I also don't know if it was the right setting to go into pick and roll heavy type of sets.
I just feel like pick and roll so far this season has really gotten us out of a lot of stuff. It seems like one of the best plays in the NBA right now.
And sometimes our best pick and roll success comes with Montrezl Harrell offensively.
Montrezl Harrell is a great roller.
Yeah, he's a classic rim runner. That's what he is.
Yeah.
So he does work well with Harden on the rim runs. So that's why I think our best success, 2-3 possessions is when Montrezl Harrell will get his easy buckets around the rim because of a Harden pass. But yeah, I would love to see in a more of a playoff setting because then it's more amplified. You pick and roll in game 1, it's not going to be the same pick and roll in game 3 because the defense knows exactly how to defend everything. If you can still exploit their weakness, which James Harden hasn't always done. The pick and roll is something that they've strayed away from, and they've just missed 27 straight threes because of it. So I don't know how much I trust it, but I want to blissfully. I want to think that it's going to be unstoppable.
Yeah. And kind of moving on to Saturday, if you have nothing left to say about the Nets game.
Nothing left.
No
defense, good offense.
Great offense. A lot of points. Moving on to Saturday, we have at 3 p.m. Eastern time, Joel Embiid versus Nikola Jokic. Now, we had this matchup last year. I think it was in like March.
Yep.
Busy
Bones, the Bones game.
Embiid outplayed Jokic, but Bones Highland won the game for the Denver Nuggets, hitting a lot of shots, a lot of tough shots in the fourth quarter, which I didn't think it was going to, but it was the deciding factor for the MVP vote, I think, last year. The Nuggets winning that game. I think it swayed a lot of voters.
Yeah, that definitely there's a lot riding on this game. It's also what is this, rivalry week in the NBA?
It is rivalry week, and the refs have made it out to call everything a technical foul. I mean, that's the one thing I don't understand. You want to have a rivalry week, let people talk trash.
Also,
calling text for.
Also, the Sixers and Nuggets are not rivals at all.
They are not. This is a fan rivalry.
This is a Twitter rivalry. This is
strictly a Twitter rivalry.
Joel
Embiid and Nikola Jokic like each other. They are friends.
This is an NBA rivalry ESPN game because of Twitter, which is hilarious. I mean, this is not a rival. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Never once in my life have I looked at Denver and thought of rival in any sport.
I get that they're trying to push a rivalry agenda because we don't. I would say we need more.
Now, this is insane agenda pushing.
Oh yeah,
this is insane agenda.
And the NBA wants to push more rivalries because they miss the rivalries they had in the 80s and 90s.
We have great rivalries. We have phenomenal rivalries.
I think the rivalries back then were better.
I think that the Sixers have a lot right now.
Yeah.
I think Sixers Raptors is one of the best rivalries in the NBA. Obviously, Sixers Celtics, Sixers Heat, Sixers Nets. I think that Celtics and Nets is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Knicks and Nets is a great one.
Mm-hmm.
I like a lot of Memphis and Golden State. It's a great one. Great rivalry, which they played last night.
They played last night, yeah.
And it was a good rivalry slate last night.
Steph Curry got kicked out and Jordan Poole hit the shot.
Yeah. So, there's definitely some great ones going on, obviously. I think Clippers-Warriors was a fantastic rivalry. Not anymore. I don't know. They've kind of lost that rivalry spark, but with the Blake Griffin Clippers and the Steph Curry, Draymond, Clay, right after the Monte Ellis trade Warriors, that was a great rivalry.
I miss the Lob City Clippers. They were a fun team.
Yeah. I also think the Lakers and Suns, also a great rivalry.
That's a pretty good rivalry, yeah.
Thunder and Rockets, a good one right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're both it's funny because they've been on the same trajectory forever now, the two teams. They've both been good and really, really bad at the same time, which makes it for a fantastic rivalry. Yeah, but not one of those. I mean, we just named 10. None of them are even touching close to Nuggets and Sixers. Not a rivalry, guys. This is not a rivalry.
This is
not at all. Let's
NBA
stop pushing
Twitter
this
rivalry.
Let's stop pushing this as a rivalry.
I mean, hey, I'll accept it because I love seeing Embiid and
there's
Jokic
no doubt
play each other.
I don't want Jokic to win, but it's not a rivalry.
I think we'll win tomorrow or Saturday. I mean.
Well, which is tomorrow, I guess, right?
Yeah, this episode comes out on Friday. So
we did this on a Thursday. It comes out on Friday, so I guess it's tomorrow. So in tomorrow's game, I don't think we're gonna win. I think the Nuggets are pretty good.
Give me a bold prediction for tomorrow.
I'm gonna say Jokic outplays Embiid.
Oof, I don't like to hear that, Tony.
I don't either, but I mean it's gonna happen.
Bold prediction for Saturday's game.
I think Harden over 15 assists.
Ooh,
I think he'll be dishing it. I think it'll be that pick and roll, getting Jokic on a switch.
So
it might be lethal.
So Jokic didn't play on Wednesday.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Well, do we know? Was that an injury or?
I don't think it's anything. I don't think it's anything crazy. Just rest.
Could he not play?
I think he'll play on Saturday. I think he's gonna play because I haven't really seen anything about him not gonna play on Saturday. So I'm pretty sure he'll be good.
Yeah.
And is anything else you want to talk about the Nuggets game, or should we move into our midseason awards?
I would say if you let somebody beat you, it better be Jokic.
I don't want Jokic to
It
beat him.
better be Jokic. If we let somebody beat us, it better be Jokic.
Oh yeah,
Just
I
saying.
really don't want
And I don't want anybody to beat
another
us.
Bones Highland.
Yeah, we don't want to do NBA rivalry week and Aaron Gordon has 28. Like nobody wants to see that.
That's just nasty.
Like
That's just nasty.
nobody wants to see that.
All right. So we're about a little over halfway done the NBA season. A lot of talk of awards, and we have created our list of midseason awards players we think that
And
currently
a coach, correct? And a coach.
and
All right.
coach who currently hold the number one spot for their award. We can do Graham. You want to go first? We're going to do MVP first.
MVP, I have Joel Embiid.
Do you want to?
You have Luka. That's my guess. You have Embiid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, come on. 19 wins in their last 23 games. I said it earlier, anchoring the number 3 defense in the league, second in points per game. I mean, come on. What more do you want from this guy? Give him the MVP award already. It is not going to Jason Tatum. It's not going to Giannis. It's not going to Jokic. It's going to Embiid.
Yeah, I think that he definitely needs some times to shine. I feel like yesterday would have been a great time to drop a 40, and he didn't do it. He didn't even get 30. That's why I'm a little wary that if he has a stinker on Saturday.
No, he needs to play good.
Yeah, he needs to play good.
Tony,
play good.
I mean, just
do we want to bring Tony on the screen for this one?
Why not?
Sure. Hello.
Oh,
Hey, Tony.
Beautiful face.
Are we doing 3 or are we just doing 1?
You just your MVP.
Just the MVP? Obviously, it's going to be Embiid. Come on, guys.
All right, good. That's all
no bias in this answer at
No
all.
bias in this answer. As we're recording here, I've got the Knicks game, Knicks Celtics, and the Knicks just won in overtime.
Oh, you're not watching the Nets game?
They already lost.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
I was watching UConn and Tennessee women's basketball, great game, and now I'm apparently about to watch some Australian Open tennis.
All right, what award do we want to get on next?
I want this Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year. All right.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Bam Adebayo. Most versatile defender in the NBA right now. Is also the second year we're gonna give out a pity award, which is fine. Bam's a great defender. Marcus Smart, I'm not sure if he deserved it last year. He's also a great defender. I think Bam's probably a little better on that. But I don't know if there's really a strong case for Defensive Player of the Year by anybody this year.
No.
I just think Bam might just fall into his lap.
I have like a little list, like a top 3 list for me because I wasn't sure who to pick. Actually a top 2 list. I have Jaren Jackson and Nick Claxton currently on my list. I think they're both having just an outstanding year defensively, anchoring at I couldn't tell you what number defense in the league, but it's
top defense, just a top defense,
just a top defense in the league. Yeah,
anchoring anchoring one of the defenses in the league. Yeah, I think they're all respectable. I definitely do not think that it should go to a guard this year because there really hasn't been a guard to stand out. And I also think Bam has done a good job anchoring the Heat's defense.
Yeah,
but he also is a very I don't want to say this out being cliche. I mean, he can't really guard 1 through 5. If he switched on to a 1, he can guard him. He's not guarding 1 through 5 really. But I think that Bam can have one of the highest defensive ceilings out of anybody in the NBA, other than Rudy Gobert. So when you look at Bam's, what he can reach on levels of defense and make game-saving plays, that's why I think he can be Defensive Player of the Year.
Tony?
Just like you, Justin, I was between Jaren Jackson and Claxton. I had his name Bam third. Embiid honorable mention, like 4th, 5th. A lot of good defensive bigs. But I'll give it to Jaren Jackson. Could have argued he probably could have won it last year. He was like top 3. Cannot say I've watched much Grizzlies basketball this year. I don't know if he's gotten the foul trouble under, or he's mitigated the foul trouble, because that was an issue.
No, I'm pretty sure he got into foul trouble last night.
Well, I just mean like in general, because
Oh yeah,
every game I watched last year, it felt like he'd have like 5 fouls midway through the fourth. But
no, he's definitely still getting into foul trouble.
Did y'all listen to Jaren Jackson's album?
He has an album.
I knew he had an album. I did not listen to it.
I
don't know. I do not.
Is it good?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it came out like a year ago. I don't know what he goes by though, like his rap name.
All right,
interesting.
What?
But he makes like rage music.
Interesting.
It's like Destroy Lonely.
What award do we want to do next? Do we want to go Rookie of the Year or Most Improved?
Let's go Rookie. I think that'll be pretty.
Right,
I think Rookie's pretty easy.
Yeah, it's Paolo Banchero.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's nobody really playing better than him right now. I mean, I'd say that the closest rookie I'd say is Benedict Mathurin, but other than that, no, there's nobody really on Paolo's level this year as a rookie. Everybody agree?
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that Paolo's winning Rookie of the Year.
Most Improved. Let's go to Most Improved, Graham.
I have Lauri Markkanen. What he's doing in Utah, yes, he's doing it, and it's in Utah, so nobody really cares. But I feel like he's having the type of year where you can't ignore he's just on a hot streak. Well, not really, because he's been on a hot streak for a couple months
all
now.
year.
He's on a couple months hot streak now. So I think this is when you start to put it on notice that he can be MIP.
Yeah, I think there's really two answers for this. It's either Lauri Markkanen or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I went with Lauri Markkanen. I mean, he's up 10 points per game. He's up 7% on his field goal percentage, up 8% on his 3-point percentage. I mean, how do you not give a guy like that Most Improved Player of the Year?
Yeah, I think it's between him and Shai.
Mm-hmm. Tony?
I don't think it's between him and Shai. I think Lauri will win it. Just for this, I'm gonna give it to Nick Claxton. You guys alluded to it earlier. He's been phenomenal. Well, more as of late. The beginning of the season wasn't as good for him, but it feels like recently he's been making insane strides.
What are we looking at here? Oh, is that Jaren Jackson Jr.?
Trip J.
Yeah, Trip J.
I can see that.
I looked up
any cool features?
No, all solo. I looked up though to see what his album name was. It was headline pops up. Jaren Jackson Jr. dropped a terrible rap album. Vendetta Sports Media.
All right, well,
I thought it was
good. Listening to that.
I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
but NBA player, I thought it was good. Anyways, Nick Claxton, Most Improved Player.
I think Shai definitely deserves respect. I mean, he's up in literally every single stat except rebounds and assists, where he's dropped like 0.1 or 2, which really doesn't matter. But in every other aspect of his game, he's improved greatly.
I just don't feel like they give it to star players that much,
I mean, they did give it to did Ja get the award last year?
Did who?
Yeah.
Ja get the Most Improved award last year?
I mean, that's more of like I feel like that's more of an exception, not like the rule,
Yeah, no, he definitely got it. They also gave it to CJ, and he was already solidified himself.
I thought Tyrese Maxey should have been in the running last year.
I think he's in it this year.
I think let's move on to Sixth Man of the Year.
Easy for me. This one's easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Is Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I also have Russell Westbrook. Yep. I mean, moving Russell to the bench, it was a great decision.
God, he would have been so good off the bench for us. So good off the bench for us.
Maybe
so good off the bench for
Isn't this contract year?
Would have been so good off the bench for us.
But another name I wrote down is if this player keeps coming off the bench, he could potentially be in the running, and that's Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, for sure.
If he comes off the bench probably for the rest of the year, he would 100% be a finalist for this award.
But
do we
imagine
wanna...
if we didn't have him off the bench and we had a Russ. We'd be so
Tony,
good.
did you have Russ as well?
I had Russ as
You
well.
had Russ
Yeah.
as well. All right, Coach of the Year.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Pels coach Willie Green. Just the talent they have and the way they're putting it together this year. I just don't want it to go to Joe Mazzulla because I don't like him.
I had the Pels head coach second, but I had Joe Mazzulla winning this award. I mean, with all the stuff that they went through in the off season, and this guy to just come in and not miss a step at all. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they're good, but
Talent.
I think you got to
just
give
won.
the guy props.
They also just won the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
with the same exact team, and now he's coaching the team to their potential.
Usually, the number one seed of team gets
Yeah,
the
but
coach of the
they
year.
just made the finals, and now they're the number one team in the East. Playing
Hey, I'm
with
just
one
giving
of the best
credit.
records.
I'm just giving
No,
credit.
I
where
agree
it's
with
due.
you. I agree with you, but they also just went to the finals with the same team.
No,
And now
I
they're the
agree.
number one
I agree
seed.
with what you're saying.
Luke Walton
I think
coached
they'd be.
the
I think they'd be good
Warriors
with
24-1.
with most coaches, but they're the number one team in the league. So I feel like I have to give props.
No,
where
he's a
it's
good
due.
coach for sure.
just
He's a
lost
good
tonight,
coach.
so
Did they lose?
yeah, they lost in overtime.
Yeah, the
Knicks.
Sixers are breathing down their necks.
Yeah,
What are we? 3 games now? 2.5.
2.5 or 3. Yeah,
Tony,
Breathing
can you
down
look
their
that up
neck.
real quick.
sure. I will do this.
Is that? Did we get through all the awards?
No, we did not. I did not
No.
give my coach of the year. I'm giving
yeah.
it to Mike Brown, coach of the Sacramento Kings, who are
God, that's such a good
potentially
answer.
third as I look at the standings right now.
That is a great answer.
Yep.
That's a really good
Take a
answer.
look. We are 2.5 games back, and the Kings are in third
Yeah.
in the Western Conference.
Who would have seen this coming?
The things that they've done this year, they're a good defensive team, which you would have not thought with what's his name, Sabonis. They're good. It looks like they're gonna end their playoff drought. I think if they end their playoff drought, he's a lock to win.
Yeah.
I think.
Do they have the longest playoff drought in any major sport?
I think so.
No, well, yeah, I guess they do now because the Mariners made the playoff.
Yeah,
last
it
year.
used to be the Mariners,
Yep.
and now it's yeah.
Now it's them.
Good for the Kings, man. I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of that answer. That's a great
Yeah.
answer. And
The Phillies are no longer second longest.
Yeah. Is that
Respect the NL champs.
Did we go through all the awards? I think we did.
Yeah, I think we did get all the awards. Coach of the year in the NFL.
Sirianni
Apparently not Nick Sirianni.
should be.
Talking
Birds.
about
Another
the
snub.
Birds.
Another snub.
San Francisco 49ers are coming to Philadelphia on Sunday at 3 p.m. Who do we think's going to win?
Brock Purdy is going to shit his pants when he comes to the ring.
Bro, okay, last time Brock Purdy lost a game, it was to Clemson, the Cheez-It Bowl. Mario Goodrich was the game MVP. That's all I need to say.
I read I watch the Eagles like every game. I don't really know that much about football, but I saw something where Brock Purdy only played like a top 10 defense once this year, and then the Eagles are the number 1 or passing defense, I should
Like
say.
if Avonte Maddox is back, it's wraps. We're
Oh
up.
my God,
We're up by
yeah.
like
They
28.
said
halftime.
he looked
He was looking
felt
good, yeah.
today.
Yeah, it's over with. It is over with. Kenny G getting his TDs. Miles will get one on the ground. Hurts will get one on the ground. We're gonna have Smitty, tap his toes at the very end of a half, the first half, to extend the lead to 33 after the first half. And
I
we're
would
good.
love it. I would love it. I really want to go back to the Super Bowl, man.
That'd be insane.
Just
It's
see
in
it.
it's in Glendale.
Yep.
Is it? All right.
Yep.
Is that Arizona?
It is. Yeah.
All right. Look at me. I'm smart.
Well, I'm glad you got that right.
All right. I think is that all we got for tonight?
And go Birds.
Today?
Go Birds,
Go
yeah.
Birds. Go Sixers.
Flyers don't
keep
exist.
losing every game. They just refuse to lose. They just
Yeah,
refuse.
they don't exist though. 60 days away, give or take, from opening day.
Need that.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode 27 of Scenes from the Spectrum Midseason Awards edition. Have a fantastic rest of your night. Make sure to follow our socials down there in the bottom left. Thank you.
Am I pointing in the right spot?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Right there.
Thanks.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.